Okay, we got 28 minutes and 6 seconds on this one. Quite the quite the storage. It's yeah, it's quite interesting because I'm seeing this trend that most people are actually trying to personify themselves once again because AI is quite widespread and yeah. And the funny thing about the whole thing is that um, people are fighting themselves again over, okay, you're putting your face to get money and you're doing everything to get money. And the funny thing about the whole thing is that it always has been about the resources. Every every person in the history of humanity has done something to secure resources. Some do it the better way, some do it the worse way, some don't want to do it like others do it. And for me, it's personally like it's like the story of a kid um, who is asked, "What do you want to do when you grow up?" And one person says, "I want to be an astronaut." The other kid says, "I want to be a pilot. I want to be a teacher. I want to be whatever." Ever since I was 5 years old, and even today, I have always said I want to think and have the opportunity to think more. It's not about the resources to hoarding it, like having everything and hoarding resources more and more and more. No, it's like basically how I see life is that it's like a brothel. You wake up in a brothel and basically you have to make a choice. You just wake up in a brothel. It wasn't your choice. It wasn't. You just wake up, and the next step is your choice. You literally fuck to your heart's extent and content, not because of anything, any desire. Any desire dampens with time, but because a brothel is built for that, and you already are in. Some people watch other people fuck, and they die having wished to live a life, never having made any moves to live it. Those people I meet every single day, unfortunately. When I was 8 years old, I met them, 40 years old, 50 years old, saying, I wish I had done this, I had done this. When I turned 12, I kept meeting them. 20, same, now as well. These people are the people not only limited by circumstances, but also limited by their own mentality. I still don't understand. Most people don't want to be judged. Being judged has the utility of not being denied the social resources, the networking, I literally call it betworking. You bet on other people's efforts working in your favor, but that's another story. You you can justify blending in with the society to the extent of procuring resources to your continued existence. You need job, you need source of income, you need alliances, you need to navigate through a complex configuration of this fucking society, and all of that makes sense. But you need to understand, okay, what kind of actions and humiliations are actually gonna affect your resources on a larger scale. There is this theory, is it like Jordan Peterson or even someone else, that has the infinite selves stretched through time, that sure, you doing like nothing today makes sure the self of today and you is popular, is accepted, is in a societal status hierarchy, in a higher level of that. But not doing anything is gonna betray the totality of these, as I call it, council of selves in the totality of your life. So sticking to the brothel analogy is that most people watch other people fuck, and both in the literal sense and both in the philosophical sense. There are so many more people watching porn than actually fucking people. That's the statistical reality of things. And there are so many people yapping and talking without taking any action. To get immediately defensive, even this recording of the video is action rather than talking to thin air to one or two people. This is literally documentation of my life for next 10 years, 20, 30. And on top of all of that, I'm doing like every other kind of taking action part of the equation anyway as well. That's the defensive part of it out of the way. The next category of people in the brothel are the ones who just fidget. They literally go finger the fucking whores. They slap their asses. They literally pinch the fucking titties, but they don't just fucking fuck. It's like, bitch, are you gonna flirt with the world or you gonna fuck it, as fucking Eminem puts it? And these people are the half-ass people that they procure a job and they latch on that fucking job for eternity. Unfortunately, I know many of these people as well. It goes from bestseller to normal taxi driver. And the tragedy of the statistical reality is that anything you want, there's many of it, because there are 8 billion people. Anything you want, there is 10 of them, at the very least. There's this guy who is very kind, very kind of respected person, but he's literally procured a position for himself and has not moved an inch in the echelon of security, financial security, family kind of satisfaction. 30 to 40 years of just status day to day, and the delusion is that he is not only afraid of losing that, he is satisfied and he is graceful and grateful for having that, because it was hard to get that. And what that leads a 70 years old man is that he doesn't talk to his 2 or 3 sons. He doesn't talk to his 2 daughters. He doesn't talk to his 2 wives. He talks to me every single day. And there is this understanding that he sees the ambition in me. Maybe I'm wrong, but interestingly, maybe not. He sees the ambition in me, and he wants to make me something because he couldn't and he can't or he wouldn't. And that's the tragedy of the second group of people, the people who just watch other fuck, the people who fidget and flirt with life every now and then, taking some plan of action which is not gonna lead anywhere, but makes them satisfied that they're not just watching, they're engaging with life to some extent. And there is the third group of people, that these people are just so fascinating that they literally flirt, they kiss, they rub their dick against the ass cheeks and lips of the whores, but they just don't enjoy fucking. For whatever the reason, they are the people at the edge. It could be a bestseller, it could be professor, could be whatever. I know this bestseller who literally goes at the edge of the mountain and he just stands there because that's the only moment in his life he feels alive. He cannot just jump and die. He cannot just watch the edge. He just needs to live there. And there is this funny story that he wrote a book, a mini short story that he shared with me, and it was literally he was at the edge explaining how it is at the edge of the mountain, literally standing and writing it on his tablet. This kind of people is like, at least they're just enjoying it for themselves, or they're in the brothel and enjoying it how they want to be. Because maybe I'm being judgmental, but people who watch people fuck, they don't enjoy the watching. They're watching because they're afraid to fuck. They're afraid to engage. They're afraid to be judged by other people, be weirds. And voyeurists are the most weirdest people anyways. You cannot openly watch porn in public and not be judged for it, but everyone does it. I remember I had this interesting date with this religious girl, and I crudely joked, she said, give me your phone, and she was like going over my contacts. I said, don't open my porns. And she literally said, oh, you watch porn? And she was like so shocked. I said, yeah, you do too. And she was like so fucking insulted, as if it's the statistical disparity of every single fucking people in the age cohort of 20 to 30 years old watching porn. And it was like such a bullshit like reaction. But yeah, the The other cohort of people are the ones that engage with life occasionally. And the equation with those people is quite simple as well, that dude, fuck or don't. Like, what the fuck are you doing? And the third people who at least find their own way of enjoying a whore, like as in life, engaging with life, at least they have some respect because they are not afraid to be judged for it. And it's like something like, but people like me, I don't enjoy being in a brothel. In a literal sense and in a fucking philosophical sense, I don't enjoy life as a concept because uh, a threshold of kind of understanding you literally pass. This is gonna be such a like a pretentious comment, but I don't give a shit about it. It's like a threshold of understanding of life you pass. I'm blessed to have a couple of people who actually understand this. Sometimes I literally have to cool down. I literally rage message a couple of bestsellers, professors, and people who would understand this shit. And they literally say, yeah, I understand. Having that kind of mind is no fun. And people saying this really have lived through it. Like, I'm not gonna like go too deep on examples, but some of them actually have had 5 to 10 like attempt of suicide. Those people understand shit. When you literally are beating on your fucking wife in front of your 2 years old kid, you understand that shit. But yeah, um, some people are just living as dead people. It's like there is this quote that I really adore that says, most people cautiously make it to death, having lived not a breath. It's like, it's not poetic, it's not like mental masturbation. It's just, I don't understand if you, going back to the brothel analogy, if you wake up, you need to identify your choices in the brothel and you need to understand, okay, what are the consequences of your actions after you wake up. You wake up in a brothel, you see a whore. You either ignore her, go to the next whore. You ignore that. There needs to be something done in the brothel, or you just leave. You take your own life, as the analogy of life, and I I'm realizing that even with my own self, the keeping eye contact while talking is quite interestingly non-existent because I don't know, maybe just that's how I function, but it's quite a nice self-awareness, I guess, that even with myself I cannot look in the eye and yeah, yeah, even find the words because it's just weird, like staring at the eyes of a person, finding the words in it. It's not like, yeah, but I just see it as like you wake up in a brothel and it's just you need to do something. Even lying in bed requires you to make a decision. Not making a decision is also a decision. So you lie in bed until your time, let's say 1 hour, 2 hour, or how many hours of your payment um, is over. I'm quite treating this carefully because I'm very obsessive with analogy consistency. So um, the payment is time in your life, and the analogy in the brothel is actual payment. So either the 1 hour comes up and you just get the fuck out, as Marcus Aurelius would call it. You have reached the shore, get out. My guy is quite poetic for a philosopher, and he actually openly hates poetry, which is fantastic. But yeah, um, I've talked about this with so many people so many times that it's like all of the philosophy on life is like such a bullshit excuse. And it's like you look at the existentialist kind of philosophy that they say Schopenhauer is pessimist and says life is suffering. Okay, dude, why are you alive? Kill yourself. Benatar says existence is a net negative. Okay, kill yourself. Why the fuck are you alive? Camus says it's absurd, but you accept the absurdity and live through it, which makes it even more absurd. And the funny thing is, he literally died the death he literally abhorred, and it was the absurd death of a car accident. Everyone like in history is like has this one thing wrong about life, that life is just waking up in a brothel and you have to make a choice. You either watch other people fuck for the rest of your time in the brothel, and sure, that's your choice. That's the Buddhism, that you don't care about the materialistics, you don't care about the hedonism, you just find peace in watching everyone in the brothel having the harmonious act of procuration. See how poetic it sounds and how peaceful it is, but the reality of things is you're just watching other people fuck. And the other thing is, okay, you wake up in a brothel, which is a very crowded brothel, and you don't give a fuck about other people fucking. You just look at the paintings on the wall of the brothel. Wow, the sun is great. The clouds are quite fluffy. The paintings are like so immaculate. You add a couple of paintings yourself. But the brothel is not to fucking appreciate the architecture. You wake up in a fucking brothel to fuck. And the analogy with life is like you wake up in a life with so many things to learn that you are never gonna fuck all of the whores in the brothel. But it's better to fuck the most of them, have traveled most of the countries, have learned most of the languages, have understood most of the human interactions, and have talked about most of the things, have done most of the things. And then you get the fuck out. Because you literally need to get the fuck out anyways. And the most kind of logical thing would be that you wake up in a brothel, you understand you are in a brothel, not a fucking museum, and you understand you need to have a choice. You don't like a brothel, get the fuck out. You don't like how the fucking people there are fucking, you find your own way of fucking. You don't like what is it? You don't like how things are. You literally invent a new fucking position. I was in a fucking brothel and I was bored to fuck. I was bored to death, and I literally said, okay, we're gonna play a very, very fast game. Whoever makes me come faster, there was two of them, and I pay her the double to make it competitive, because how I enjoy things is the fucking control aspect of it, the fucking systematic synthesis of seeing humanity unfold on the fucking page, on the stage. And that's how I fucking enjoyed it. That's the whole thing. But you wake up in a brothel, you don't just fucking leave. You don't watch other people fuck and literally be miserable about other people fucking. It's like you just wake up in a brothel, you make a choice. Maybe you want to fall in love with one whore for the rest of your time in the brothel. Okay, go fuck that. But my philosophy of life is just simple. Efficiency. You literally wake up in a brothel, you fuck till you don't have a breath to fuck anymore. Not that you like it, not that's gonna be easy, not that's gonna be enjoyable, but that's the aim and the purpose of a fucking brothel. You wake up, you fuck until you cannot, and you're not going out. You are dragged out after your time is up. That's life. And that's why I live like this way. The documentation of every stage of my life, over ambitious as they call it, and over creation. The whole purpose of life is to conquer and have abundance and let go from place of abundance and saturated abundance, not like Buddhism. Buddha was like a prince. Fuck Buddha. The other fucking Taoism, that they didn't have anything and they coped themselves to death, that I'm satisfied. No. The actual true satisfactions come through saturation. You need to fuck everything on the planet to have satisfied your thirst, to then pivot to love of nature, love of God, love of whatever the fuck it is. But yeah, you wake up in a fucking brothel, next time, you just fuck. The more, the better. Bye.